Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faisal Hafidz, and now I will be shadowing news videos from the VOA that titled with the title China aims hike on growth but challenges loom, and from CNN Indonesia with the title Gurih Pedas Bakso Gatok Jumbo.
At China's biggest annual political gathering, a display of confidence despite growing economic challenges.
At China's biggest annual political gathering, a display of confidence despite growing economic challenges.
Premier Li Qiang set this year's growth target at around 5%, one of the world's fastest.
Premier Li Qiang set to the year's growth target at around 5%, one of the world's most finest.
This target is backed by economic growth potential and favorable conditions.
But
this target is backed by economic growth potential and favorable conditions.
But beneath the optimism, China faces big challenges.
But beneath the optimism, China faces big challenges.
A prolonged real estate crisis has left home prices falling and buildings empty.
A prolonged real estate crisis has left economic markets empty.
And now, new U.S. tariffs are hitting China's exports, adding more strain.
And now, new U.S. tariffs are hitting China export, adding more strain.
U.S. President Donald Trump has doubled tariffs on China compared to his first term.
U.S. President Donald Trump has doubled tariff on China compared to his first term.
At an address Tuesday night to Congress, he showed no sign of backing down.
At an address Tuesday night to Congress, he showed of no backing down.
Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries.
Other countries have used tariff against us for decades, and now it's our turn to using them against other countries.
This week, China imposed its own tariffs on U.S. farm goods, but analysts called the response restrained.
Whereas
this week, China imposed its own tariff to the U.S. government, but analysts call it as a restraint act.
Trump's tariffs were across the board, the People's Republic of China's were much more selective and directed at specific industries and activities, specific products.
Whereas Trump tariffs were across the board, the People's Republic of China were much more selective and directed at specific industries.
To withstand tariffs, China has tried to prioritize sluggish domestic consumption, but its economy is still vulnerable.
To withstand tariffs, China has tried to prioritize sluggish domestic consumption, but its economic is still vulnerable.
There's still overproduction in China, so exports are still needed by a lot of companies. So
they still have a production in China, so exports are still needed by a lot of companies.
So it's going to, I think the tariffs imposed by the Trump administration is going to have an impact.
The tire sitting for the post by Donald Trump will give a significant. It's going to have an impact.
How well Beijing navigates these challenges will determine whether its confidence matches reality.
How well Beijing navigates these challenges, that will determine whether it's considered matches reality.
Bill Gallo, VOA News, Seoul, South Korea.
Okay, that's for the first video from VOA with the title China aims hike on growth but challenges loom. So for the next one is from the CNN Indonesia with the title Gurih Pedas Bakso Gatok Jumbo.
Pernah coba makan bakso seperti ini?
Pernah coba makan bakso seperti ini?
Ya, sepintas bakso ini berbentuk tabu untuk memukul beduk ya.
Dalam sepintas bakso ini tampak tabu dan berbentuk seperti beduk ya.
Namun ternyata bakso berukuran besar ini terbuat dari tulang gatok atau tulang dengkul sapi dengan sumsum.
Namun, bakso ini terbuat dari datok sapi atau dari dengkul sapi atau sumsum.
Saking besarnya, cara makannya pun harus dipotong-potong dulu, seperti ini.
Saking besarnya pun, cara makannya itu harus potong-potong seperti ini.
Adonan bakso yang dibuat mengelilingi tulang dengkul sapi ini beratnya bisa mencapai 1,5 kilogram.
Adonan bakso yang dikelilingi tulang sapi hampir berat sebesar 1,5 kg.
Bakso yang dijual di salah satu kedai di Jalan Berenen, Gempang, Kabupaten Pidi Aceh ini bisa dinikmati hingga 5 orang dengan harga Rp200.000 satu porsinya.
Bakso yang terletak di Kecamatan Berenen, Kabupaten Pidi Aceh ini di pinggir jalan dapat dinikmati oleh semua orang dengan harga Rp200.000.
Lalu bagaimana dengan rasanya ya?
Bagaimana dengan rasanya ya?
Ya, pedas-pedas gurih, pokoknya beda kalau kita makan di tempat yang lain. Ini rasanya agak beda, agak lebih nikmat, lebih keras.
Rasanya berbeda dari tempat yang lain, yang di sini lebih terasa berbeda-beda dan manis-manis gurih.
Kedai bakso yang buka mulai pukul 10 pagi ini tidak pernah sepi dari pembeli. Bahkan pembeli dari luar Pidi pun berdatangan.
Bahkan bakso ini walaupun buka dari pagi tetap ramai pembeli dan tidak pernah kehabisan pelanggan. Dan mungkin so I think that's for the shadowing from the CNN Indonesia with the title Gurih Pedas Bakso Gatok Jumbo and Faisal Hafidz. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.